Hello vinyl community, Midge here, a guy in a hat who likes to talk about records. And today's video is a response video to Morten channel. He's a member of the vinyl community. I've only just started watching, but I've really been enjoying his videos. He shows some cool records and he does some cool illustrations as well. So I'll leave a link to his channel down below. But recently he set a vinyl community challenge or a thread where he's said to show self-titled albums but not the debuts, and that was made me rack my brains for ages, that, because I could think of so many self-titled albums, but obviously usually they're the first albums, aren't they? It's like a statement of intent. So you come along here with your new band or your solo career and you say, hi, this is me, this is Peter Gabriel, and then basically you're saying, in Peter's case, I'm going solo, and you're thinking, yeah, this is my statement of intent, this is where I'm going from here. But obviously, probably a lot of people didn't name their, next 4 or 5 albums Peter Gabriel as well. I mean, they just come to a point where you're thinking, all right, Peter, we get it. You've gone solo, we get it. But when I started racking my brains, I couldn't think of anything at all. I could think of everybody's first album, but not albums that were made with self-titles further down the line. So it was a real challenge, this one. So thanks for that, Morten. it was really difficult to think of any, but I did manage to think of 6, and I was trying to think of albums that other people hadn't shown yet or hadn't already been done, so that made it even more of a challenge. But I've got 6, I think, that'll qualify. So let's get on with it. So the first one is from 1995, and it's the 4th album by the Charlatans, self-titled but not the debut. And this was sort of made at the time when Britpop was emerging, so the Charlatans had been around for a while, but this sort of did herald a new sort of era for them. They made some really catchy singles. They sort of, they jumped on board the Britpop bandwagon and became a bit more highly known than they were at the time. So this was like the second phase in their career. So this album was produced bizarrely by the Charlatans and Steve Hillage, the guitarist from Gong and Khan, the sort of 70s hippie guitarist. It didn't go that well because halfway through the sessions, the band realised that Hillage was working on other projects. And I think that made them a bit annoyed because basically I think this album had a bit of a difficult birth. They kept re-recording it and kept remixing it, and they weren't happy with the results. So when they found out that Hillage was working on other projects as well, they fired him. So they finished the rest of the album themselves with their engineer. But it's a cracking album. There's some really great singles on here. You've got Just Looking, Crashing In, Just When You're Thinking Things Over, with that great sort of upbeat piano riff that runs through it. You've got Tell Everyone. You've got Here Comes a Soul Saver, which borrows really heavily, I think, from Pink Floyd's Fearless. But no one ever seems to mention that. I don't understand how they got away with it. I mean, did they get sued for it? Did they have to co-credit Waters and Gilmour for it? I mean, no one ever mentions, but he definitely borrows from it. And yeah, it's just a cracking album. It's a bit overlong and there's a bit of filler on it. But, on the whole, it's a really great album, and it sort of paved the way for the next album, Telling Stories, which I think was an absolute classic. But yeah, great album, sort of lots of funky organ, lots of influences. They were a bit of a magpie band, the Charlatans, weren't they? These sort of like these elements of the Faces here, you can hear the Stones in here. But yeah, great songs, great band, still going today. Yeah, the Charlatans, self-titled. Next up, from 1967, another favourite of mine, The Small Faces. This is The Small Faces, self-titled, but not the debut. But the debut was also called Small Faces, just to make things even more confusing. So the Small Faces were on the Decca label. They fell out with the label. They fell out with the management as well. And they signed to Andrew Loog Oldham of the Stones, Stones manager, obviously, his new immediate label. So they called it Small Faces again for some bizarre reason, but this is their second album called Small Faces on the immediate label. And it was quite a jump for the Small Faces because this was the first album where they wrote all the compositions themselves. So, lots of Marriott and Lane co-writes. Ian McLagan, the organist, also wrote a song on here. But it's an absolutely cracking album. It's sort of like grown from being like a mod R&B band to incorporating, you know, soul, psych, power pop. It's just a great album. Tell Me, Have You Ever Seen Me? Things Are Gonna Get Better, My Way of Giving, Green Circles, Get Yourself Together. Just an absolute classic album. I absolutely love the Small Faces, and every player had their own personality. Just a great band. And Ronnie Lane is one of my all-time musical heroes. I love his songwriting. Yeah, absolute classic. This is a reissue from a couple of years ago. I'm not exactly sure when from, but on the immediate label, they sort of reproduced the label for that. Also, which is quite cool, it comes with a 7-inch single, which has got sort of like the radio interviews and promo for the album on it. So there's like interviews and sort of interspersed with bits of the album and things on. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, Small Faces, self-titled but not the debut. Next up, we've got a bit tenuous one. This I might have to check this one. The 1970 album from the Byrds, and it's called Untitled. It does count. It does count, doesn't it? Yeah, yeah, I think so. Yeah, it does. Sorry, my YouTube channel's been audited today by the Vinyl Ombudsman, so I've got to check. I've got to be careful. So yeah, the Byrds Untitled, but that surely means it's called the Byrds. So yeah, it counts. It counts. So anyway, this is unbelievably their 9th album. So they left it to their 9th album before making a self-titled album. This is the lineup of the Byrds. It was sort of like the second phase of the Byrds. It was their country rock lineup. You've still got Roger McGuinn, you've got Clarence White, Gene Parsons, and Skip Battin, who joined for this album. And this is pretty cool. It's like it's a double album. Half of it's live, a live concert, and the other half of it's all new studio songs. So on the live side, you've got things like covers of Bob Dylan's Positively 4th Street. You've got versions of So You Want to Be a Rock and Roll Star, Mr. Tambourine Man and Mr. Spaceman. But the absolute gem on this album is on the second side. There's a 16-minute version of 8 Miles High, and it's absolutely blistering. Every band member has a chance to shine. They stretch it out. It's like a space rock version. It's absolutely superb. It's worth the price of the album alone. So the first 2 sides are the live side, the second 2 sides are the studio side, so it's all new material. I think Roger McGuinn was in the middle of composing like a musical at the time, which he sort of abandoned halfway through, so a lot of the songs he'd written for that ended up on this album. So you've got like Chestnut Mare, which is like a which is like a late period Byrd classic. But there's some really strong material on here. This Truck Stop Girl, which I think is a Little Feat cover, I think. You've got Yesterday's Train, you've got Take a Whiff, You All Look Alike, and Welcome Back Home, which is another extended Byrds track. And this album's absolutely superb. It's 9th album. A lot of people consider this the best of the late period Byrds albums, but yeah, the Byrds, it is the Byrds. It is untitled, but it's the Byrds. It is. Next up, we have another more recent album. This is from 2014, and it's by Ryan Adams, self-titled but not the debut. So this is his first self-produced album. He apparently abandoned a Glyn Johns produced album that he was working on to make this one. I think he felt he was being pigeonholed by the label and producers into making what they thought Ryan Adams' album should sound like, and he sort of rebelled against it and made this album instead. This is his, I think this is his 14th album, something ridiculous like that, before he decided to land on a self-titled album. But this is one of those Ryan Adams albums that I really enjoy. It's sort of like it's got that classic sort of 70s singer-songwriter rock albums that, you know, a classic of that time. Apparently he was influenced by a lot of rock and punk musicians that he listened to growing up, like The Replacements and Husker Du and bands like that. So yeah, it's got great sort of like 70s rock sound to it. And it's got some great tracks on Gimme Something Good, Kim, My Wrecking Ball, Feels Like Fire. It's just a great late period Ryan Adams sounding album. It's just great. Really enjoy it, and I'm a big Ryan Adams fan anyway, despite his troubles. Um, Good picture of his studio there, the Pac Sam studio, and this is on his own, obviously, Pac Sam label. But yeah, self-titled Ryan Adams, but not the debut. Really enjoy this album. Yeah, love it. Next up, this is the third album by this band, and it's the Velvet Underground's self-titled, but not the debut album. This was from 1969. It's the first Velvet Underground album with Doug Yule, who replaced John Cale when he left. And this is sort of a reaction to the album that came before it, White Light, White Heat, which was really full on, chaotic, over amplified, lots of fuzz, just absolutely out there album, stunning album, absolutely love it. But this was sort of like a reaction to that album. So in this case, everything's sort of pared down and quite subdued. And I love that front cover. It's like you've stumbled upon the band in the pitch black and someone's shone a light on them. And yeah, I love that album cover. So like the album itself, it's sort of like it's dark, minimalistic. And yeah, some of Lou Reed's greatest songs are on here. You've got Candy Says, What Goes On, Some Kind of Love, Pale Blue Eyes, Beginning to See the Light. But yeah, I love this album, superb album. And this album, Lou Reed wanted the other band members to step forward as well. So Doug Yule sings a lead vocal on here. Maureen Tucker, the drummer, sings After Hours, the last track on the album, in a very sort of sweet and innocent type voice. But yeah, it's an absolutely cracking album. One of the things I love about this is sort of like it is quite minimalistic, and the guitar interplay between Lou Reed and Sterling Morrison is absolutely superb. It's sort of like rhythm guitar masterclass between the two. It's absolutely brilliant. So like I say, it's really pared down. It's quite quiet and hymnal in places. Some of the songs sound quite religious, or they've got like a religious backing to it, although Lou Reed said they aren't religious songs. He wasn't interested in religion at all. It's just got that sort of element of searching and looking for something to make you feel whole, or longing and looking for love and things like that. So yeah, it's got some of Lou Reed's great songwriting on here. It's also got, I mean, it wouldn't be a Velvet Underground album without a bit of strangeness to it. So you've got the 8-minute The Murder Mystery on here, which is like a really bizarre track where they just basically, all the members of the band repeat sort of strange lines of poetry and verse and things like that over each other. And it just gets more bizarre as it goes along. But yeah, you've got to love Velvet Underground albums for that. They always have some sort of weird tracks on it. But yeah, Velvet Underground's third album, self-titled but not the debut, absolutely superb album. I love that picture of Lou Reed on the back, out of his face and upside down basically. But yeah, Velvet Underground by the Velvet Underground. And lastly, another album I'll probably have to check, but Led Zeppelin. I know what you're going to say. I know what you're going to say. It's Led Zeppelin 4. It isn't Led Zeppelin 4. Google it. Go on. Yeah. It isn't. It's untitled. It is actually untitled. I know everybody calls it Led Zeppelin 4 or Four Symbols, but it is actually untitled. You see? Yeah. So yeah, Led Zeppelin's fourth album from 1971, deliberately untitled after the imaginative albums that preceded it of Led Zeppelin 2 and Led Zeppelin 3. Jimmy Page decided he didn't want a title for this album. He just wanted it to be remained untitled. He didn't want the band's name on the cover. He didn't want any sort of track listing or anything on it. I mean, this is the reissue that came out this is a deluxe edition that came out a few years ago. I did have all the Led Zeppelin, I'm a big Led Zeppelin fan, so I had all the albums anyway on vinyl, but when the deluxe editions came out, I couldn't resist them, but I ended up selling my old versions, which I regret now, because you sort of lose the back cover. The negative image sort of things, because it's got the extra tracks on, so it gives you like each deluxe edition gave you sort of like a blueprint of what the album sounded like before it was all tarted up and polished. So that's why you've got like a negative, because it includes the tracks that weren't finished as like a bonus to see, like a works in progress thing. So yeah, Led Zeppelin's fourth album, well known for having Stairway to Heaven on it. Obviously made a career for Rolf Harris. But aside from that, obviously classic rock radio track. The band insisted on it not being a single, despite the fact at the time that all the radio stations picked up on it and wanted it as a single. They refused because they didn't release singles. I don't think they ever released a single in the lifetime of the band. But yeah, so the front cover, it's an old picture that Robert Plant found in an antique shop. Obviously around that sort of time. Apparently the image dates back to 1892. It's a picture of a Thatcher called Lot Longyear. I think they didn't track him down. He's not still alive, but someone did some detective work on the picture and found out that it was from the 1890s. A lot of people thought that was Ian Anderson from Jethro Tull, but no, it wasn't. But yeah, it was sort of like meant to indicate the difference between the olden sort of simpler times and the decay of modern era, and something quite heavy like that. Obviously absolutely classic album. This has got this is obviously like this is the extended version with extra tracks, so you've got a great band image there and a great live shot there. Obviously, again, Sandy Denny appears on this album. She was the only female vocalist on the Led Zeppelin album. Yeah, just there's not more you can say about it. It's just an absolute classic, isn't it? Stairway to Heaven, Black Dog, Misty Mountain, Hop. It's just one of my all-time favourite albums. Ever since I was a teenager, I've loved Led Zeppelin and this album. But yeah, it does count. It's untitled and it's the fourth album. So yeah, so that's my 6 self-titled but not the debut album. So thanks again to Morten for setting this challenge, and really enjoyed it. So don't forget to check out his channel on the link below, and I'll see you on the next video. Thank you very much. Hello vinyl community. Goodbye vinyl community.